Hello, everyone. This is Jessica Washington. What you know, I don't know why I keep introducing myself, but I will say it is very, very early, and I've had the wonderful opportunity of looking through our Summative 1 exams. Now, I want to say this. Summative 1 exams were not under the stipulation of the new NAIS expectations, which you saw in the video. The Summative 1 exams are more an opportunity for us to learn, to practice, to prepare, as well as make sure that we're teaching our kids to that rigor level. Well, I wanted to take this time out because I wanted to shout out, yay, an exemplar-ish, because we're still always growing, department. And I wanted to not only shout out this department, I'm going to be looking at other departments as well. So I know that you're like, what department is this? But I wanted to also offer that feedback and the feedback for them individually, and also have the team be able to hear this feedback so you can kind of know and adjust your thinking when it comes to us growing and building assessments. So I am going to kind of take us on a journey, hopefully quick, but a journey of looking at these Summative 1 assessments and like what's really stand out, how they look like standardized testing, the questioning levels, the different type of abilities, and then different areas where we can think about growing, changing, or adapting, to make sure that it's looking right for our kids. So join me now in a trip in Schoology as we talk about and discuss the department I just really wanted to shout out. And so give me a second while I move my Zoom codes, because I always seem to get them in front of me and in the way. I am looking at, I think you've seen it already. Yes, congratulations to the ELA team, who I just really, when I kind of looked through, saw a lot of, first and foremost, let me talk a lot of improvement. I don't know who remembers me from ELA last year, but before this time, when we were talking about the midterm reviews, I remember pulling Miss Kia to the side and said, things have to change. And at that point in time in last year, ELA looked a lot more exact skill based, just content. It was not a lot of looking at the questioning types and the how, and it was more so, can you do this? Show proof of that. And so one thing I want to really shout out with this team is such a development and building of the assessments in less than a year. During COVID and the pandemic, there has been a significant shift and changes to what they look like. And I do want to shout out that piece, as well as our ELA department. And you'll learn this in our data meeting that is going to come up within the next week, when we have to look at our kiddos and what's going on and where they have to go and do. Our students are having significant gaps when it comes to our reading and our comprehension, and we really have to change how we're building and creating those opportunities for them. So first, I want to go ahead and look at grade 3. And what I want to say about grade 3, we're looking really just at the assessments, is that just hands down, for this summative exam for grade 3. And if you have any experience with the MAP testing, what are you seeing is your passage here. And then you see a building of questions that really relate to the passage. How does Feathers feel about circle, which is a level 1? And then in this passage, which 2 characters are talking, and those good exemplars and how they're written, what was Feathers doing before circle ran into her? And then now we're pulling into more of the analyzing questions. What would best show Feathers as she's saying this? What would best describe circles? So this is a very good 3rd grade, because they're moving from that 2nd grade level to this 3rd grade, really being hard on testing comprehension, inferencing, and those type of patterns. Now, being transparent is that our grade 3 kiddos did not score well on this test. And when we look at that, I don't know if I want to go through all of the data, because I'm going to keep this personal is that one, we noticed that they took the test in less than 5 minutes. Many kids average between 5 to 7 minutes to take the exam. And then another thing is that there was low scoring. And what we noticed is, and we had this conversation, what I would have this conversation as a data coach, is that it was a great text. And we now need to prepare our students to think like this. So I would actually switch one of the homeworks out and send something that looks exactly like this home once a week. So the students now start knowing how to build that and answer these type of questions and looking at our text in an analyzing way. If you notice something in your test that students are not mastering, you now put it into that mindful minute, or you put it into that homework, but you put it into some kind of way so the students can work with it. The other thing is, this was a good summative. Therefore, if we continue growing and building our kids, we can come back and your department head can make that decision, or I can make that decision of saying, okay, we'll drop the lowest summative exam score. If you have 3 summatives for that year, that term, we can go back and say, you know what? The kids actually showed growth. We know the exam 1 is very hard. And for grade 3, they're coming from 2nd grade and distance learning. So yes, there's a major change. So we can turn around and say, you know what? After we get this pattern, we can drop the lowest exam grade and make it fairer in the grading system. But those are things that we can do to support that. But overall, excellent work, and that's the feedback for that one. I want to go to, I'm sorry, because I have to jump all over the place just to get my computer correct. Let's go to another ELA teacher. Let's just go to the next grade level and go to Miss Warder with grade 4. And Miss Warder did a great job as well. I want to put up the test first so I can show you what we can do and what we can look at. Okay. And let's look at grade 4. I like that you kept your distance learning kids separate. Where did you put your test in week 5? One thing I am going to say, I'll say it on the next one. So let's look at the summative, which is unpublished. And now I will say for feedback, Ms. Warder, this is going to be a little bit more difficult because you use the quiz, which is the green puzzle and not the blue puzzle. And so I am going to be looking at this now as a quiz, and what cannot happen is I can't get the printing up and I can't do the quick review with the report. So that's one of the feedbacks. I'm going to have to go to this in a different way. Let me go to preview because I want to kind of show you some things. But if you keep your summatives underneath the blue, it works better. So it says read the passage and it now start a new attempt. So it has me looking at this as a student. And one of the things here is that if you go back, the student has to go back and forth between the questions, I believe. But if you do it in the blue, you don't have to, you can stay on that. And you see the growing of the questions and how it builds on. One of the other things I will turn around and say, because we're dealing with grade 4, is that we moved from a comprehension questions to now our ELA grammar pieces. I would prefer, it does not have to happen, but because math is broken up in those 2 sections, and I also think that our kids can only grasp the information at one time, I would prefer 2 quizzes, which means one is just the comprehension piece and the other would be the ELA piece. One, it keeps those standards separate and it doesn't become as overwhelming, but we also need to track those skills differently because they're also weighted differently. So that was the one feedback that I really did have in there. And then once again, and you're going to see this in another teacher's, that the write your own words has a rubric attached to it. And once again, these are things that are easier to do in the other test format. So the feedback would be use the blue and not the green. Green is for in class, quick quizzes, checks, all that stuff. Use the blue. Let's go to, let's keep on going up. Grade 5. Grade 5, where are you? So thank you so much. And once again, teachers, thank you for allowing us to peruse this. I am going to look at a couple more departments to see if I can find exemplars in those departments. Okay, where is it? Summative test 1. There we go. And there's some still grading that needs submissions. Sam, please go in and go ahead and disable your submissions. Oh, it's the weekend, that's why. Okay, I'll give you that time. And I'm gonna go to quick print assessment. I can tell you that I can look at the numbers and her kids really took their time on this, and that's excellent. And so what I saw here is read the passage below and answer the questions and use a quote from it. These were really good questions. Read the passage, it's direct, exactly what is needed, and the descriptions are very detailed. I will say, especially dealing with, once again, elementary, to work on the formatting because all of this kind of blends together. So either change the size or change the font or highlight or color, but do some differentiation in the directions and the actual text to kind of separate that in the formatting issue. Also, there is a button in the assessments that allows the entire passage to be pasted on this page instead of having to break it up, but that is a choice. Once again, the questions were very, very good. And then what you went into is that little grammar piece where the questions level changed. But this is also one of the great things, question number 6, when we talk about the distractors, these are excellent examples of how to write your answer choices. Excellent example, because look how it has the same pattern and prose, so it doesn't show favoritism in any answer. That is really, really good. And the summarization question, which and main idea, which our kids struggle with, and then looking at those. So once again, went back to the passage and utilizing the opportunity for that rubric to grade those type of questions just to help out with the understanding for the kiddos because they're learning. So that piece. And if you choose to break it up, this is another one that would be okay, but they're also grade 5. So if you're training them for middle school and they can handle it, it does not need to be broken up if you have that opportunity. All right. And we're moving on along. Go ahead, ELA. So let's stop. Hand claps to you. I'm trying to see if I can find someone else's Schoology account so I can give you guys a couple more tips and tidbits. Becky, thank you so much. Yes, Becky does a great job with the folder. So this is not the example. Look at the layout of these folders. Great. Also, Becky, thank you for putting in these dates. These are very important. And I know if we can get together as a team and have only the homeroom teachers put in the parent conference dates and the midterm breaks, that will work. But until then, this is actually the first time I've seen all of these dates in, and that is important and vital. So we will clean this up, but first I need to see it in, because what happens is the students are seeing all the things that are necessary. I'm going to the semester exams. When I look, Becky has hers broken up into 2, and we know why. That's great. I think it was 1. Let me see if I pulled it up before. If not, I want to go ahead and close some of these windows. Excuse me. And if I close the windows, I have lost it. Is this grade 1? It's grade 6. Okay. My apologies. I'm trying to fumble all around here. The layout and format is so suitable for our students. The change of colors, the change of question formats, like this is a really great layout. And then Here's the directions right here for each question, very much bolded. It says exactly what to do, and it reads exactly like a standardized test question would read. This is like a textbook example of looking at what the question should look like. The answer choices right here. Even down here, the following portion has two parts. Answer part A first, then part B, which is the exact language of an assessment. What would happen in a MAP test? What would happen in a state exam? What will happen in any type of university exam, SAT? So your students are getting this training. Now, one thing I will say is that this is grade 6 and Becky teaches grade 6 and 7, that means that they're getting this training throughout. It would be wise or a great opportunity if the middle school department came together on their assessments to ensure that the students are seeing things in the same way. It's one of those things that really builds that understanding. Now, here is a short answer prompt, but as we said, the rubric before. So the students see exactly how they're being graded and assessed right there in the test. So that part is really good. And another team that does this very well is the Arabic team. So I don't want to lose that shout out because I can't read half of the test. But the Arabic team does a really, really great job in utilizing rubrics inside of the assessments in this way and giving students the exact understanding of how it should be rated and graded. And the rubric falls in line with the point value. So this is excellent, excellent work on this end. And so thank you very much. I'm going now to just a few more. I know, I'm sorry, this video is a little bit long, but I thank you for tracking in with me and doing this. To Miss Nabila, thank you very much. And I'm hoping Miss Nabila can give me the other example I want to point out. If not, I'm going to have to track back, I think, to Miss Ward's class. Miss Nabila is, I'm going to, oh, I wanted to go to BC. I didn't think about it. I'm sorry, I went to the wrong one. Very descriptive, even in the folders. I really like that. Thank you. This description is very telling. I know exactly looking at the folder. Think about this as a student, and we're still getting new students coming in, that these folders really say exactly what should be happening. Let's look at the summative. And yeah, I went to the wrong class. Listen to, I don't want to go to the wrong summative. There was one that I wanted to ensure that I saw, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm picking out the right questions. Okay, I went to the wrong summative. Great job. And once again, see how the entire story is in here. I will say that the reading of the story is in one place and it's together. It looks exactly like the summative exam. Good job. But this is not the question I wanted to go to. I thought I left it up, so please give me a second to go through my 5,000 tabs. Yes. So I think this is the second part of section 2, where you worked more with the grammar portion, which is really, really good. Which of the following sentences is a compound sentence, which is a simple sentence. And then we got to, and this is where the feedback is the context clues. And I wanted to ask 2 questions. One, that these words, because they're context clues, were not taught before. And when we're talking about 8th grade, these are very good questions, but I actually have I have an account with Ed Helper. And in my past, Ed Helper did a great job with context clues. So you can go here, and this part is free, and go context clues worksheets. And it gives you a variety of how the context clues are utilized. And you can use the one sentence, but when we're talking about what we need for our grade 8 and above, and remember, I'm going to show you the data very soon, we need to start challenging them with word or paragraph length, because one of the things that we see is that when they see more words, they shut down. And we have to be able to give them those words in that training. So if you want to turn around and look at the small paragraph, it's the same exact type question, but it's more sentences allowed with it. And so it's an easy copy paste to just expand the context clues. And remember, this is summative 1. So one sentence is absolutely fine, but to be able to start building it up to a little bit of a higher level, a little bit more reading, those type of things. So edhelper.com will do that for free. And if you catch me, I can try to also pass out my account information. I have to find it, but I do know I have a free subscription, and there's a lot of little bitty things in here. I know that you have to do the substitution folders in Schoology now. I would legitimately copy just a bunch of these different worksheets and activities like this. So if you're absent, you can just publish these, because these are skills kids must work on all the time. In a date, it is grade 3. Oh my God. But being able to turn around and do that. And yeah, see here, I have my email address. I just don't remember where, but I can get it, not a problem. But utilizing that to really build our students in that way. So that was the biggest feedback within the villa. Everything else was great. It's just, let's look at how we can grow our kiddos and build them. The last quick thing I want to show, and I'm just going to go back to Ms. Warda's because I know that it's more so in her page. And it's the layout of Schoology. We are now in October. So one of the goals that I would suggest or have us do is to go ahead and condense, especially now that we gave that opportunity for students to make up their work, and we're now putting in the missing, is that we have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. I would condense these, and I would actually, well, Ms. Warder can just get mad, but she's watching this, she'll see. So I'm going to sit here and say August. No, it's not August. Oh my goodness. I'm taking us way back in time. September 2020 class work activities, which I cannot spell right now. And I don't see, Ms. Warder, if I mess up, I don't see you having a color theme. I'm going to go through green. And if you don't mind, please add this. And I don't know why that date is there. Publish it and create. So now I've created this folder, and I just drag it to move it up. And then I'm dragging these folders inside of it. Well, it's supposed to go inside. Okay, then I put it, move, and destination. Where are you? There we go. And then, so what we're doing is we're now cleaning up, and we're not making it too many folders, and we're trying to keep things kind of organized. It has to be organized and easy to navigate. We have to remember what we're doing for our students and what we're trying to make happen here. Sorry, I don't want to take too much time. So if everybody can go through and spend that time, I'm going to try to give us little make out times where you can work on just cleaning these things up and looking at what we're doing in the classroom and really building everything so it's full cycle. We're trying to get into that rhythm. I see us. Elementary, I really see a rhythm. Excellent work. Secondary, we're getting there. And secondary, you guys are doing great things in the classroom. I see what's going on, and the kids are starting to feel that little rhythm as well. And while I say we're getting there, we are, and I see us a week away. So we have to just make sure everything that we're doing is purposeful and on point, and we're focusing on instruction every minute, every day, because our students need it. And so look at that. Look how I cleaned all that up. Oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you so much. I know that this was a lengthy video, but I do want to shout out, so hands down to the ELA team. Thank you for allowing us to explore your assessments. I really hope that it was able to give you valuable feedback. Also the team valuable feedback on where to go. I have a lot on my plate, so I know I'm going to get a couple of messages like, you didn't look at mine, you didn't see my teams. I'm also trying to get our data together for some very important things, as well as our parent teacher conference day, as well as that week and our distance learning day of what we're doing. So please know that just because you're not here, you're not forgotten and you're not loved. But I did want to shout out because there has been a lot of growth with the ELA team. And I do want to make sure that they understand we see them. And I think it also gives us a great opportunity to build off of our original conversation around assessments and where we're trying to go with what they should look like. Once again, great job. I will see everyone later.